All right, Rusty. Well, let's jump into the pick and ban phase for the very first game of OPL 2020. Pretty excited for this one. As we've said, it is literally a brand new decade. 10 years of League of Legends. It's going to be a brand new decade here down under.
Definitely is. Brand new decade, but one thing that has remained consistent is that this is going to be the Oceanic Showdown. Both teams love to be able to say that against one another. There's a winning record, I believe, from Avant, but it's very easy to say that. And then you look at the rosters in this game and how reinvented they've become and say that winning record may quickly go away if Legacy play to expectations. Yeah,
you can imagine, especially in the board meetings for Legacy, there were some stern conversations that would have taken place after a record of, 1-20 in the regular split last year. So definitely some changes up here, and it's been obviously emphasized multiple times from Twitter predictions, other analysts, even us on the desk. So Legacy need to really stamp home some authority to get some momentum here.
I mean, definitely. You want to start winning for certain. You know, with the all-star roster that they've got for themselves, a lineup of just players, let alone what we're going to see in the draft as we get through this as well.
Yep.
Note that we are on patch 10.2. We'll get into the champions in a minute. But right now, there are still some expectations that we need to make sure are hit home from Legacy, such as getting the wins first. And then for the hunger of their opponents, the wild card of Avant Gaming, how do they start this one?
Well, that's it. And I think always when you've got a composition that is so bloodthirsty as is Avant, you can't really dismiss it and sort of go automatically for a scaling composition of, hey, we can beat these guys. You need to sort of respect the early game. If they are going to do chaotic things, it may throw you off your balance. Set is obviously going to be taken away on that new patch. So no 1v1 punch-ons like I know you've been liking to discuss online.
No, we're not going to have any one-outs in this game. Not from Set anyway, so no fists going to be involved. Aphelios is also available, as is Misfortune. If we're going to look at the AD carry position, those are the two very prominent champions right now that we have been seeing left, right, and center. And usually coupled with those AD carries is some kind of engaged support right now. Around the world, Leona has become a very big deal. Expect to see a whole lot more of Leona. Nautilus is always going to be a good champion. And we've started to see a lot more Braum, particularly through NA. Not so much in other regions, but it is starting to appear more and more. And just a very good, reliable champion is Braum.
And it does seem to be a case also for the fact that he gives you potential to not only disengage, but also to block. Obviously, his Ice Wall is so strong to knock out primarily, obviously, what's going to come out from the bullet time of that Misfortune. But here in the Champ Select, we've got one more pick before we switch over to Legacy. So already denying Braum for that pick potential. But you talked about the engage. Obviously, there has been a heavy focus also on the likes of Tahm Kench. Anything to sort of prevent you getting one shot by, your Zoes, your LeBlancs, even your Vegas.
So the thing with Tahm Kench is, good champion, always has been just for what he does. But usually they're only people that have picked that are good Tahm Kench players or good teams because they can utilize Tahm Kench to the fullest. I would rather see much more aggressive options from both of these teams right now. Isles being the rookie of the squad with Raze, I would like to see something simple from them as they start to find their footing. That's why you say like a Leona, not a bad choice, of course. Into a Braum, Olaf, Mordecai are very hard to function in that role at the moment, so we will see where they choose to go.
But I've got a composition that if you look at that right now, it says we are going in. Obviously, Olaf there when he goes unstoppable, making it incredibly hard, almost forcing you, if you're a Legacy support, to want to consider the likes of an Exhaust, trying to have some tools there, but you want those champions really from the side of Legacy to try and initiate and empower Raze, as you mentioned.
And the one curious thing here is the difference in roles that have been picked. So there's an AD carry from Legacy, there isn't one from Avant. They've gone for a solo laner here, so a support rather compared to the AD carry. So the slight differences there means we go into the next ban phase. Legacy could take away the center, they could take away the Aphelios if they wanted as well, and start to make it a bit harder. But because Braum's already there for Appy, they could actually play whatever they want. Braum's just such a good enabling champion.
Of course.
Every AD carry on Summoner's Rift, so no complaints there. Just the one champion taken away by Legacy in the center, and then a Cassiopeia.
Yeah, Senna for me is such an oppressive champion. The fact that she has so much range, scales up fantastically with her passive with the Soul Collection, and as you get into that later stage when you've obviously unlocked a fair bit of lethality, you can do a fair bit of work. Not to mention the fact is that she has CC built into her kit with the Root, she has the ability to disengage with the Mist, and the cross-the-map ultimate. That for me just gives you so much global pressure, far more than the likes of, say, a Twisted Fate.
She's just a pain in the butt. It's really good to see her on the ban list, because sometimes she's just so annoying to play against. Now what we're going to see here from Legacy and Avant is top lane's definitely still a place that can be looked at, but unlikely given that we've got the Mordekaiser and the Aatrox. Everywhere else in the world, this is why I bring this up, we've been seeing Gangplanks and Ornns left, right, and center playing against each other. Not the case so far in this game, but and this is because I was an Avant coach in the past. I know Aatrox can flex into any lane. So it's always possible that we still see those options come up for Legacy as their red side. They get the last pick.
Well, you had to imagine that he was going to come out if he wasn't banned away with Senna taken and Misfortune locked in. Aphelios is going to find himself in the very first game here for Avant Gaming. One of those champions that just has so much intricacies built into him. The ability to really try and min-max those weapon ammos to understand which one is most utilized based on the conditions. But in the Zoe, so you ban away the LeBlanc, you got that initiation potential, and you just have a composition like a wrecking ball that just comes on through the Mordekaiser, Braum, and Olaf.
Yeah, decent amounts of engage overall here from the side of Legacy as well. Rakan, Lee Sin able to provide that shockwave, very good follow-up. If it finds the engage itself with a shockwave, the follow-up's there from the rest of the team. That's something you definitely want to look towards with them. What do they do right now? A pretty damn good team fight. I think they're going to look towards that, but that's not to say that AV's team fighting is by any means bad, right? They've actually got a lot of good tools when it comes to team fighting. Where they're lacking just a little bit more is that hard engage. So that's the major difference that we can see in the drafts right now between both of these teams. AV, I think they're just going to poke around a little bit more, maybe get the number mismatches, look at objectives as a place that they want to start those fights, use the Zoe, use the Aphelios, and outplay their opponents. Legacy very happy to take fights in small confined areas, you know, hit those choke points and just get the front to back. Very easy.
I wonder, Rusty, if we see sort of the burden of execution really fall on Avant Gaming, given their characteristics as a team being aggressive, for them to sort of feel that they need to push home an advantage pre-20 minutes before tower platings have fallen down, before a few Dragon Souls have been acquired, and sort of try and get themselves off to a strong start. Otherwise, you know, maybe that belief, maybe that sort of self-initiated tilt can creep in day one.
I mean, definitely. I feel like when it comes to AV, their innate desire will be to be aggressive. And I think the biggest question that we'll have for them in this game is it's their first game in a professional league for a couple of them as well. Will they still be that style, you know, like, or they go against the grain to what they should be doing because there's pressure?
Well, we do have Denian alongside us here for a quick interview. What do you think about this one so far? Are you pretty happy with what's been locked in?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with what we got so far. I think we got a lot of champions that we're comfortable with, but also think we have a lot of good matchups too.
Definitely. I mean, and I want to go into the game in a second, Dedian. First, I want to talk to you. It's the first time that we've had you on in 2020. And you've gone through some changes, mate. Talk to me. What's happened?
Well, you mean like me as a person? Yeah. Well, last year was really hard for me mentally.
To communicate with the team?
Yeah, so whenever we do have something that he doesn't naturally understand, and his English is fine as it is. He's a bit shy, though, which is understandable. We'll just go up to Poon and say, hey, can you translate this for us? But our preference is to have him understand it before we go to Poon, because otherwise he's never going to get any better.
Of course.
All right, well, thank you, Denny. And we're going to jump into the very first game here, Split 1, Game 1 for the OPL 2020. Rusty, we've had the insight, we've had the ability to understand what's inside the coach's head, but now it's time to see execution unfold.
And I just want to reiterate the fact that, like, we brought Dedian in for an interview as a coach of Legacy. He has been, you know, things have happened with Jensen, as he mentioned. He lost 50 kilos,
It's
man.
incredible.
That's nuts. Like, he came in, he looks like a different man. You have to be super, you know, proud of his efforts there. And being able to come in now with one of the best teams, with a team expected to win, everything's looking good for him right now.
Yeah, the mental health benefits, to say the least, will absolutely be out of this world as they look to go for an aggressive invade here. That's Avant with 3 members strong, saying the blue is ours. No response so far here from Babbitt, who has gone for a leashless red start on his own side.
Yeah, at least in one of the few champions that can also, you know, start a buff by himself, go with the W start, and there's no issues at all health-wise. AV, of course, they want to take away that blue buff. They want to utilize the advantage that the Olaf has got always over a Lee Sin, and then he just farms really fast. The one difference between the two of them is that Olaf likes to lose a bit of health. Lee Sin will always be full health, so if they meet each other in the jungle, by design, the Lee Sin should always win.
Now, both of these junglers should have a bit of an inclination that they're here. Obviously, Babbitt would have been spotted out there by Lee, so he's going to go into a board. Going to get checked on out here right now. There's the Ignite. Does he have the ability to get on out? He does. He flashes across. The boys are there to protect him. Even Zoe, with the pressure in mid lane, able to rotate down through River as well. So an early first blood, narrowly avoided.
Yeah, good punish there from Legacy, considering that he had to flash to safety. He doesn't have a lot of health, but the thing with Olaf, he's just going to farm faster because of that. The big win is the flash that was taken away. However, you do still have to look at Legacy and think of the time investment from Babbitt that went to that. Started red, did it solo, came over to the Wolves, didn't actually get to the camp, you know, just saw it taken away from him. And now he's just going to get the Gromp because the Wolves are gone, and he's going to be level 2 for a while. So he's actually not in the best position, this Lee Sin. However, the opportunity is there.
That's something people have been talking about a lot, is the jungle difference, the ability to, fall behind your solo laners, the ability that you really need to sort of force ganks and you need to actually counter jungle because there is no catch-up XP, and looks like he's going to try and initiate on some kind of a call like that.
And he may have to utilize the mid lane priority here for this blue buff. We'll see how they choose to play this one out just because Chaz was chunked. However, Chaz didn't really use any summoner spells, so might actually be fighting fit. Avant, however, they see Babip, they know he's gone to the blue buff. They opt away from the skirmish. Instead, they're just going to go towards the bot side Scuttle Crab. So being a little bit risk averse here is Lisa. Perhaps just saying, I don't have the flash, I don't want to risk the fight.
Yeah, understandably so. And Babip says, well, this is my time to shine and try and do a bit of counter jungling of my own. Pick up the Gromp and with double buff, maybe look to try and force out a roam. Otherwise, a Scuttle of their own. But now it's a 3-man strong composition with Guncrab looking to try and initiate there with the pistol. It's spinning around. They're going to try and get the root onto 2. Yes, they do. They're looking to try and collapse underneath the tower. Only level 3, though, bear in mind. The shield will deny an auto, but a bit of an aggressive, almost overzealous move.
Aggressive is one way to look at it. Guncrab flashes forwards and doesn't get the root straight away. It actually takes a significant amount of time for him to find what he was looking for at the start. So feels like a big miss in the end. But however, it could have been something amazing for them if it was able to work. Instead, it's just the heal from Raze, and they're able to walk it out.
A little bit starstruck there, to be quite honest, the fact that he, of all characters, was the one jumping in to try and make something happen. But nonetheless, maybe it's showing Legacy a message that we're not afraid of you as they carry on passively CSing.
And it was very aggressive, you will say, to say the least. Something you'd expect from this organization once again. And Guncrab is one of the more veteran players within AV, within the OPL in general. So not a big surprise as they are going again.
Knockup comes out, but a double root to follow once again. Appy with the shield, the Ignite was down to Raze. They will need one more auto attack to secure that kill, but they're unable to find it. Unfortunately, they do. However, Guncrab, double kill! Even burns the flash from Isles as well. Raze is smiling, but Guncrab is like, I flashed, I do everything. I am aggressive, Rusty, I am.
And he's able to find 2 of the kills as well. Aphelios is the new science champion. There's just too much going on. Didn't expect him to get the 2nd kill onto Isles, but it goes down anyway. And so he's able to get a 2-0 scoreline. He's got the CS advantage. And the last thing you can do there is just smile at the fact that that's how it's gone. So he's got the flamethrower, he's got the gravity cannon. They're able to get a good ignite off as well on Raze to keep him out of the fight. And they're able to look towards Isles. But yeah, Raze comes a little bit too close. He shouldn't have been as close as he was. And Aphelios presses buttons and gets kills. That's just the way Aphelios works, everyone. He is science after all.
It's absolutely insane. The fact that his mark can sustain or can last for such a long time, that you find yourself in a safe spot, you find yourself so far away from where the action was, but nonetheless, you are taken out of that fight.
It's also like a global gravity mark. Like
it's nuts. And the action doesn't stop there, though. Bit of an engage in the top lane as Tapoon hits level 6 before Draku. But I suppose the major storyline from that is the fact that they get a double kill in the bottom lane and they are able to get themselves the first Dragon.
Yeah, Dragon going to be a big win. Olaf getting that one early as well. Farming jungler. He's going to continue to look for those dragons as they spawn from here on out. Now, you mentioned top lane. It's worth pointing out the CS differential up there right now. 50 to 28 CS. Big lead generating for the Aatrox into the Mordekaiser right now. So it's going to start to become a pretty big deal if that continues on the trajectory that they are on right now. Whereas you look at the other side of the map where Guncrab just got the double, Appy's also gone for Moby Boots Rush. So he's not going to be tanky. He's going to be running around the rift at great speed. So it seems like to me he wants to work with Lisa, wants to work with that Olaf to continue to get some map advantages where possible through where they are strong.
Well, given how aggressive Lisa was in that early game, the fact that he was just happy to go in and take a buff away and happy to stick around and even burn flash so casually, once again, you see it happen. The blue buff respawns straight away. The time is there, they're in, they're taking out a 4-man strong squad. And Babbitt, he's sort of left to go vertical jungling.
And this should come as no surprise to Legacy, however. The bot lane missing from AV. It was pinged about 1 million times just then. They'll know the blue buff is gone. You can see immediately M&S Babbitt moving towards top lane after they get the red buff. So they know the enemy blue will be there after this gank as well if they play their cards right.
Now they do have level 6 obviously on Orianna, but no kick for the Lee Sin. Death Realm can come across if need be, and it is already out right now to Babbitt, who's looking to try and survive as long as he can. He dodges out the mace, he goes for the shockwave, they get the collapse and the kill. Dragu gets taken on down, and this gives Tapoon such a strong lead in this top lane as he can surely take down some tower plating.
Yeah, big win there from Legacy in the end. It still feels weird to say Babbitt and Legacy in the same sentence once again, but here we are. He barely survives. The Q missing from Dragu, whether it's a dodge or not, that was a kill. That was unfortunately missed by the top laner of AV there. That comes back to hurt him a lot. Like you mentioned, top lane suffering a wave, crashing. Big CSD exists still.
Lee needed that roundhouse kick, but like you say, manages to juke and drive and survive to tell the tale. And we are going to see a very early lane swap. So Avant Gaming's bottom lane rotating to the top lane to try and even out that deficit that you were just highlighting. Already forcing the reactive response from Legacy's bot lane too.
I want to call this a textbook strategy that I did last year with AV, and it's not a surprise to see Gunkrab putting that one into place. Get an advantage in bot lane, swap the map as fast as you can, and just try and get some tower damage. But with the quick response here from Legacy, the fact that they are, of course, a Rakan who can move very quickly and a Misfortune who sprints around the map, they're able to get there pretty quickly and respond. So it's just a flip map looking towards Rift Herald now as the primary advantage that they'll get from this by having their strong members on the top side of the Rift.
My point exactly there, given that they have been so aggressive in this early game and not afraid to try and take those neutrals and those objectives. If Rift Herald becomes the next priority with Olaf and Lee Sin forced to hang around that top side. Still rather passive in the mid lane, nothing too exciting there. But the eyes are definitely on these junglers and how Lisa sort of forces Babip to respond.
Just gives him a bit of a how you going there with the Sonic Wave. Babip making sure that he's keeping Lisa honest, saying that you can't start that Rift Herald. I am watching you. This is still a big battle happening between top laners.
Incredible. The Conqueror stacks are complete, but Topoon is just abusing him. The flash coming out as the final slam on the ground would have surely spelled disaster. But Topoon is abusing the fact that, hey, if you guys want to abuse the top lane, if you guys want to go for those neutrals, I will become this powerhouse.
And it's not just the top lane 1v1 that's winning here from Legacy, it's the entirety of the rest of the roster. The mid lane of the jungler rotating to the bottom side of the map. So good moves here from AV, no hesitation. They'll start up their Herald, even though there's a ward to see them doing it. But it does mean that once again the top laner suffers, and once again they're going to get more gold into the hands of Topoon. But the price is very high now, once again, on the opposite side of the map.
Three members of Avant looking to push this one in. You can see Lee Sin taking this chance whilst the vision is available. I'm going to try and deny as much of those camps as possible. He's hugging down the bottom lane. He's obviously being called in by Topoon to try and force that kill once more, but the pings are out. Dragon will be spawning very shortly, and the Rift Herald does pick up a couple of plates.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to get towards this dragon nearly in time whatsoever, so Babip should just be able to lock this one down. However, I will always say this, in League of Legends, if you've got the first dragon and the second one's an Infernal, you shouldn't touch it. You should actually just go for the Herald, give it to your opponent. And the reason I say that is because it's a 4% buff, basically 0, right? It may as well be. And it means that if you're continuing to control the tempo of the game, you'll get 3 of the other dragons. Whatever it is will be the soul. So now you could have up to three oceans and be in a very good spot where you would have had a wasted Infernal in that position. If
Well, I mean, you raised an incredible point. I mean, to elaborate that, I suppose, a bit more, on 11 minutes, you're looking at very minuscule AD and AP amounts, right? So the fact that you're giving up such priority and potentially giving away your map control for such a small buff, springs to mind there. The next few ones will obviously be the Ocean Soul, so we're going to be looking at a lot of regen and the ability to spam away, which I suppose springs complete fun and misery for the likes of Legacy and Avant's mid laners.
And League analysts around the world will be shaking their head at the decision from AV there to summon the Rift Herald while the top lane turret was at 100% health. It's more efficient to use it later into the siege up there, get as many plates as you can first, but nevertheless, they get some more gold into the pocket of their teammates. The AD carry has the completed Essence Reaver, the Cull with only 30 stacks left, and you compare that to Raze right now in his current state. Major difference between the AD carry role.
Well, Ray seems to be jumped on the flash instantly there from Appy, who trucks at the Glacial Fissure as well. He is dead. There is no chance at all. Gunkrab coming in saying, I've done work. Hey, look, I'm picking up a tower, but the Moonlight Vigil will secure my 3rd kill and give me a bounty. It looks oh so juicy. But they're not going to stop just there. Isles flashing on, and he tries to get the retaliation with the knock-up. Misses it. Chaz flashes out. And, well, Legacy get punished severely.
It was dangerous there from Chaz as well. Holds onto the flash for as long as he possibly can before using it. And then just takes the cautious route, but 2 seconds later. Nevertheless, it's just going to be a trade in the end. Flash for flash. And he's going to survive with no damage done to his health bar. But a nice attempt there from Legacy to try and get something happening in the middle lane. And good control of mid lane will come from it at the very least.
Avant really, really bullying Raze to make sure that when we do start to get into that mid-late game transition where team fights become so prevalent that he just doesn't have weight, the ability to sort of sheerly carry from the ability that we know he has. Gunkrab, with all these resources pumped into him, is only behind a couple of CS, but obviously that gold difference, giving him the Essence Reader early on, and a stopwatch makes him incredibly tough to take out.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be hard to deal with. However, the one weakness that Gunkrab will always have on Aphelios is the champion's got no mobility.
Yep.
And he's going to be against a Lee Sin who can kick him if there's no flash there, and it could just be as simple as that. You know, there's an Aatrox who will start one-tapping people. The CS split difference is growing, but the experience difference is also something worth noting for him. Close to 11 now, you would have to imagine, is this Aatrox. So lots of good things to still look towards here, and the other place that we have to consider is the gut check champion. M&S playing the Orianna. Standard control mage is what we're going to be seeing from him. And if everything goes to plan, he's the prodigy that he's made out to be.
Yep.
He's currently 1-0, even in CS against Chaz. And so far, the gut check has been very good from Legacy's mid laner.
Yeah, relatively quiet game for him so far, but the chance to really sort of showcase what he's possible or what he's capable of doing, hasn't really been on full display. Babip going to blindly face shake this one here. The Frost Smart gets applied. Lisa coming around to try and deny once again. Babip is just, he's having a rough time. He's been bullied out of his jungle completely.
It's just the numbers advantage being played here by Legacy. The game continues. A lot of movement there from Zoe, threatening in the jungle when possible, and just has the push in top lane. So at this exact moment in time, you've got an Orianna dealing with waves, pushing in top lane, not a teleport champion, has the cleanse. So it's not the best positioning on the map for all of them to be happy, especially as the Dragon nears being up once again. They will want to try and break that trend a little bit, you would expect. Swap the Aatrox, perhaps, back up to top lane.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, right now he's just freezing out Dragu, who's only just now picked up the boots up against the Mercs that Tapoon's had for quite a while now. So he's definitely forcing him to miss out on CS, miss out on levels, and ultimately miss out on his ability to try and put any influence on this. Because the Death Throne, when it is strong, it does so much work.
Absolutely. He's always going to be a relevant champion even if he's behind, and there's a lot of reasons for that, right? But most of them involve the R button. So he can just take someone who's strong away from the fight and run away.
Yep.
You know, that's 7 whole seconds of someone not having the option to do anything unless they buy a QSS. But still lots of pressure, lots of threat from Tapoon right now. Commanding this lane and actually making it very hard for AV to get any priority near the Dragon at all. There's been, I would say, a crazy amount of fighting happening near the top side red buff, which has fizzled out. So now we actually get the resets, we get the transition, we move towards the Dragon just before it spawns.
I'm going to say it's been relatively quiet with no objectives on the map, being that's Avant's focus so far. Out comes the sweeper, out comes the vision control to try and really make this bottom side river theirs. And they are set up pretty nicely so far. If any member of Legacy goes in right now, they are going in blind.
Well, Raze has been clapped off screen by a Zoe Q, so it's very difficult for them to look towards this objective if they want to fight for the Dragon. Raze has stuck around, he has the heal, but he's now a half health Misfortune. And it really just feels like this is just going to be gone. There's no contest there from them yet. And that's all it really takes. You know, with Zoe not necessarily ahead, but because the Misfortune's behind, the Paddle Star steals very significant damage.
Might see yourself a situation where they may look to try and invade. It's been the common theme all game so far, and Legacy kind of banking on that right now by showing a few faces in mid lane and hoping that Lisa may face check this one on the side. He's going to chuck out an axe. Followed up by Athi as well, who are, you know, correctly cautious. Could have definitely thrown away their lead.
It almost feels like a very dangerous game. Tiptoeing on the bounds of looking for those engages has been there from AV just then as they postured in mid. M&S just looks at Gunkrab, hits him with a QW, and Aphelios says, I am out of here. That hurt. And suddenly Legacy, while giving away the Dragon, which is not always the best thing to do, it is only the second of the game for AV, so they can afford to do that. They're going to go towards the Herald instead.
It does definitely feel like an even game, despite the gold deficit starting to favor Avant. The fact that we have two easily identifiable carries, be it Tapoon's Aatrox and Gunkrab's Aphelios. For the most part, it's been almost like a gentleman's agreement. You take one Dragon, I'll take the next, you take a Rift Herald, and we'll follow things up there. So looking to see how much value Legacy can find from their first Herald of the game, and ultimately see where this game finds that big breaking point.
And we're fresh off shops now for both of these teams, I believe. Primarily looking towards Legacy. When I say that, it means that M&S has his full mana back. He's got the wave clear available. And he's a big threat currently in terms of the damage that he can provide if a team fight were to start. So he's someone that I'm going to continue to look at the current moment, because just posturing to the side of him is always going to be the Zoe. But the thing that to me stands out is that we're just A-ramming. We're both carries sitting in mid lane. It hasn't just been one wave of this. It's been happening for a while now. Looking to get that mid prio seems to be the #1 objective. It does mean that farm is starting to suffer in the side lanes. You can see a slight closing of the gap for Dragku, who's just been happily sitting in a side lane farming. But
you can see a bit of frustration from Aatrox, really, in the sense of, look, I am so far ahead. You can see there by at least 700 gold. I want to try and force the agenda. Obviously, the massive talking point has to be the difference of Aphelios and Misfortune, but unable to really find any golden opportunity in the mid lane to unleash that Herald. Now they will finally get it pushed on in. They've got the Demolish passive as well. This tower is going to fall on down.
Yeah, they're looking for the team fight here.
They are indeed. Babbitt gets taken out into the Dragon Soul one more time. It's going to be a kill straight away by Zoe onto Rakan. The support is gone. Oh, Babbitt managing to ward help out to safety. The second time he's done that in this game here. Mordekaiser not finding much love up against him. But I don't think Avant are going to be too unhappy with that one. They were able to stem the bleeding and keep themselves ahead.
They do lose the turret while they win the team fight. You can see the ultimate now comes out from Raze, trying to deter them, and actually does prevent the push back. So overall, that's a big win from Legacy in terms of map control. Of course, the kills going over is nice. Chaz getting one for himself on the Zoe as well is always going to be a big deal. But a rabbit out of the hat from Babbitt saves them another kill. And then having the ultimate after the team fight for Raze saves them a turret.
You see there the bullet time interaction between Nat and Brom's shields, as he's able to stand strong and stand true to get the job done. But I suppose if you're thinking of consistency, that is what Raze is well known for. He's going to keep himself farming on up, wait for that moment when that fight does take place, and look to try and just sort of abuse the fact that mechanically he is incredibly gifted. Much like this guy on screen right now.
I mean, it's easy to say that. We don't know for certain just yet. However, what we heard from Denian, who is currently coaching Legacy, is that no one can match him mechanically.
It's going to look so bad, isn't it, Rusty? If we've hyped him up, everyone else has hyped him up, and it doesn't happen. But let's not put out the Caster's Curse just yet. He's got the split push on right now. Does obviously have the ability to carry on, knowing that his team are there.
I mean, let's not put out a curse, let's put out facts. So we're 20 minutes into the first game of the OPL. A team touted to be the best team in the league is 2,000 gold behind AV, who we said would probably be a middle of the pack, middle of the road type of roster. So you would say already, while it's not a bad game, it's not the start that we expected from Legacy. I expected a little bit more from them early. However, AV have been able to hold them at bay and do pretty well, play aggressively through their bot lane. And Gunkrab, who's always had his big moments.
And that's what we wanted to see from Avant, right? We wanted to see a very strong early game. If we didn't see that, I think question marks sort of sprung up above our heads as to, well, where do they really sort of find that come mid and late game? That's what Legacy are well known for. These team fights seems to be the common denominator. Now we're going to see some teleports. We're going to see an engage of some sort. The charm, the dash, you've got to look, try and force things out here. Tapoon on the left-hand side, looking to try and zone out as many members as possible. Chaz goes golden. Bullet time comes on out. He's going to survive. Raze in the backline getting rooted. Ace is taking so much damage, forced to blink away. Going into the Dragon Pit. Chakram is good. The knockback from the Dragon. Gunkrab says, what are you doing? But actually says, thank you. Moonlight Vigil taking out another. Eminence.
Lisa.
He's going to get one, but it's a double kill is the big talking point here. And it seems to be a double for both right now as Gunkrab with such a big bounty on his head, 600 to his name, says, was there a team fight? Because I'm
Topoon's in the pit. He's looking.
This is questionable. Well.
And AV do not get the team fight that they were looking for. Blinking health bars across all of Legacy except for Topoon, who was just a raid boss through the entirety of that fight. But a choice, a single decision here, and you'll see it in this fight. Chaz honestly plays the best that he could, considering that they flashed engaged on him. Just dodges the bullet time by sitting at the edge of the pit. Topoon's like, all right, I'll take the kill, boys. Don't worry about it. Locks him down. Now Gunkrab flashes for Raze. At this moment, Dragon buys time and gets aggroed. And what's Gunkrab going to do? He's stuck, and Dragon is murdering him while he's trying to contribute to the rest of the team fight. If he was just there, they wouldn't have been able to fight the rest of this Legacy potentially. And unfortunately for him, it's Ocean Dragon. And so Topoon's able to just waddle through the Dragon pit. And look how close they were to dying.
You have to wonder with him carrying on with that dragon there, if only, given that they had the ward in that shrub, right? If he had just trucked out with that sniper available.
Up he just left, watching from the other side of the dragon. Like, I can't get there.
Hanging out in the pit, blaming jungle difference because they have no smite. But it has closed up the lead, actually given Legacy a 600 gold lead, which they surely needed. Gives them some confidence, gives them a dragon, and it gives us an even game. Once again, 23 minutes in.
What did we see from Legacy in that fight? We saw a very early teleport from Topoon, very aggressive choice from them. The flash engage from Isles, they knew someone was mispositioned. So these things, again, signs of good players, experience in the roster as well, able to make that happen from a position where they were 2,000 down. Now they're 1,000 up.
Topoon is just incredibly strong right now. He picked up that bounty from Gunkrab, who was 5-0 beforehand. So that was 600 to his name. He was already so far ahead of the Mordekaiser. So this guy, he was being given the respect from that teleport already, but now, with double buffs especially, he is a raid boss. He can 1v9.
They have control in mid lane. They have priority as well. Orianna's able to threaten shockwaves, which is a very big win for them in terms of how they're going to skirmish around this lane. You can see it through M&S's positioning. But right now, Babib hits with Q. I thought he might go with that. The posturing's there, though. It's still a raid boss Gunkrab. He's still a 5-1 Aphelios that can 1v9 if it goes their way.
Yeah.
It's not that simple anymore, however.
No, does have the second item completed, so quite far ahead of Raze.
Oh, he's in trouble.
Dragon forced to disengage on out. The whole of Avant right now forcing himself back on out. Isles, the prodigy, the young one that everyone seems to be keeping an eye on. If he can bring Raze to the forefront of success, isn't going to find that dash and that charm that is desirable for them.
You're really feeling how dangerous the game is right now. This exact moment is very intense. You would say the next person who wins a team fight snowballs the game out. You can see on the bottom right, just above the minimap, how far we are away from the next Ocean Dragon. So it's all about controlling mid lane tempo right now, and Legacy have it in spades.
Seems pretty systematic right now, and it's actually working in the favor with the lanes being pushed in quite nicely. Mid lane tower going on down. The rotation seems to be threatening towards top side as well, where the outer is already gone, so working towards those inners, but keeping up the pressure. Obviously no more Rift Heralds are available, so Baron is the next play, but might see it back, might see some more farm and get some items completed before that next big fight, Rusty.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the recalls first and foremost. You know, with about a minute left before the Dragon, people will want to force themselves to go back to base for those control. So we'll see the items they start to get. Morello's is the second item of choice here for M&S. I guess it's there is a, you know what? Yeah, he's got it. So he's got 2 item spikes. This amount of flat. People will know what I'm referencing when I say that he's got the Morello's completed as a second item. Just let that one sit. But item spikes are being seen by everyone. We're actually waiting for Topoon. Might have a bit of money in his back pocket, you would have to expect. Looking for his next item.
Yeah, wondering if it's going to be the Sterix for the Tenacity. Amplify that with the Mercs and just make yourself an absolute machine. So much CC that he's going to try and battle with between Drowsy and Frozen Slows, but he wants to make sure that he can buy so much pressure, so much time for his team, because right now Lee Sin isn't the tankiest. He's a ward hopper that is almost like Mordekaiser's kryptonite.
Yeah, Lee Sin in mid-game just kind of hops around and looks for the kick, potentially dies for that unless he's heavily snowballed, but he's also got that stopwatch, right?
Yep.
So he'll be able to perhaps survive on the back end of those engages. And that really is one of the few things that Legacy have for reliable. Well, not even reliable unless Babbitt makes a mistake mechanically, but you've got Rakan, you've got the flash now available for him, you've got the Lee Sin who can hit the flash kick. Those are the 2 things you'll be looking at if Legacy want to take the fights. However, right now, they've postured themselves so heavily towards Baron, they've forgotten about the mid-wave, and AV are just going to keep running it down, breaking turrets.
Well, you have to wonder, it's a little bit questionable right now from Legacy, because the entire time they had M&S pushing top, they were set in the mid lane, or sorry, into the river, by Baron saying, look, this path is blocked off, you can't come here, we will take this tower. And Avant Garde, well, that's fine for us, because we'll take 2 towers down mid lane, and then we'll back away.
You can back away towards the Dragon as well. Now, there has been no vision placed on this side of the map, and there's not a lot of wards left for either team to place. We'll see how they choose to go for this.
There is 1 control ward from the side of Legacy in the Dragon Pit, so they will have a bit of an idea. And they are slowly pushing on in, going to be distracted by the fact that there is the Drowsy, the Glacial Fissure onto Bab. They want to remove the smite, that is the crucial crux. Appy goes golden, that's a big cooldown burn already. He is forced to flash away. The Dragon will be taken. That is free. But Appy will pay the price with his life, buying a lot of time for his team. Dragu tries to force the initiate. Topoon getting absolutely bullied by this 5-1 2-item Aphelios, but Legacy, I don't think, are too concerned.
So touch and go in terms of this game state right now. There's no straight up team fights. It was very edgy there from Appy. He saw the opportunity to throw his ultimate down, and it felt like he was just chunking someone with it. He ends up dying for it. They use the shockwave, hits the one person, however, so following that up is a little bit more difficult. Dragon has been taken down, and they have started the Baron. And AV are yet to move but they're flashing in.
Oh, M&S is in a lot of trouble right now. He's flashed, he's rooted, he needs to try and do something to survive. He's got the Banshee Veil already and he's not got a stopwatch, so he's going to try and do what he can. Does take out the Mordecai, who goes in uncontested without a team to really back him on up. 2 members down so far from Legacy as Olaf runs into the jungle, but Ray says, that's my first kill on the board. Thank you very much. We baited Baron, but this time we might not bait. We will claim.
And really there it was both top laners trying to make plays, and one of them is 3-0-3 and the other one is 0-3-0. Unfortunately, Dragu takes away M&S from the fight, the potential kill, and instead he survives and gets the 1-for-0 inside the Death Realm. Meanwhile, Topoon's just blasting them all, winning the team fight almost single-handedly, and suddenly Legacy, like you mentioned, free Baron.
Legacy going to be happy with this one. Give them some staying power, give them that gold lead that they'll need to contest the next dragon, which will be a soul before we start working towards Elders, which have such great animation.
And we'll see this team fight again from Topoon's point of view. Note that during this time the Mordekaiser is dying. He'll just get the auto attack off in the reset to find himself Gunkrab. It's the threat, you know. The second he appears in the fight, gets the kill, the ants just scatter. They disperse in different directions. No one can touch him when it comes to team fighting right now. He's too big.
He's unlocked Death Stance right now, so really giving himself that ability to survive for as long as possible, nullify a lot of that hyper carry strength. Make sure that he can stick around and carry on putting in performances like that one before.
No one here to defend the middle lane just yet. A lot of pressure able to go down. An ultimate thrown, actually. They're engaging.
They are indeed. That's going to be the knock-up. That's going to be the follow-up. That's going to be M&S getting the first kill. They're looking to get the second to Appy, combining that with the bullet time. That's the double kill that we were looking for. There's the triple, but it's going to be a full collapse as they go on through. Only Olaf survives to tell the tale. He has no flash. And he's not looking too flash in this one because he's got to try and survive the onslaught of 5 Legacy members with Baron-empowered minions going towards a core.
So much mobility, so many shields, and just so much raw damage from Legacy. They're able to clean up their opponents once they get the slightest of advantages.
That they do, and that's the Legacy we have been talking about. A brand new split, a brand new roster, and a W, a very important one, on the board.
This is the first time we've done it. It's like... That camera's a bit awkward.
I'll tell you what, Legacy, really making it look like we were idiots there at the beginning of the show. And that's our job.
Yeah, correct. I think that was literally... give me the microphone first. I think that was a very, very strange game from Legacy because the areas of the map that we thought would be strong in their solo laners were really, really strong. But that was just, I guess, a cheeky early game. You know, early invade, upset Babip's pathing, isolate the bottom lane through splitting the map, taking away bottom cam so they knew Babip had to path towards the top side, and then just, like... I'm not sure what Aphelios does.
Yeah.
And I read the tooltips on the champion.
Hey, bud.
This is a guy that's very confused about what Aphelios does because the cheeky double kill. And where did that damage come from? He's just such a strange champion.
I don't want to think about what happened. I already forgot how I got killed so easily. But
Raze, congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
win. Welcome to 2020. I mean,
Yes.
it's been 2020 for a while, but welcome to the OPL
Sure.
2020. How are you finding Legacy before we get into the game?
yeah, I was on Chiefs for like 3 years, so it's obviously like it's a big change for me. But I'm liking the org so far. I like my teammates. Everything's going like great. I'm excited for this year.
How's the hair treating you?
Nice. It's not that high maintenance or anything, so
It isn't?
people are complimenting me for it. So
Yeah, it is a bit like you.
Yeah. I mean, he wears it better.
It's true. Are you naturally blonde?
I'm a dirty blonde.
Dirty blonde. Okay, that's why it's not too high maintenance. Do you want to talk about the game? Because I want to keep talking about his hair.
I was going to ask you about Isles.
Okay.
Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, that's
how's
fine.
Isles going? Because I'm very excited about him. He's solo queue prodigy and Mammoth Academy. How's he translating to the big league?
It's pretty similar to last year. Like, obviously, I brought up Bill. I made him I helped. Like, he obviously was a good support, and I helped him like develop, and he used that very well. So it's pretty similar to last year in that. Like, I think he's very talented. I think he's got a lot of potential. So he's got a good attitude. Yeah, I like him a lot.
Deep champion pool? Kind of plays everything, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he says he doesn't, in draft, like he just, we always talk about like what champ to play, and he says like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He
Go
doesn't
along
care.
with
Yeah.
Cool. And the team chemistry, has that been clicking with everyone?
It's pretty hard with like two non-native English speakers, but we know it's going to be like a long journey. Well, it's going to be hard to adapt, but everyone's talented, so
Yeah, how have
should
you
be
been
fine.
finding your way around the communication barrier? Because I know Danian spoke a lot about in the future how you guys are going to try and tackle that with English lessons and
Yeah.
whatnot. But right now, for these games, the first few games at OPL, what have you guys been doing?
Right now, we're just trying to communicate to Minsu. We're trying to use more pings, but we don't ping that much, to be honest. But we just sometimes we have to type in chat to make it clear what lanes we're playing. But Minsu's he's very smart about the game, so it's not that hard to get used to how he wants to play either.
And the real MVP for the team is Danian. 50 kilos. That's
Yeah,
insane.
that's unreal.
That's an unbelievable... That's nearly me. That's nearly a whole me. Unbelievable. All right, well, while you ruminate on my weight, we'll be back right after this short break.